I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, December the 6th, brought to you in part by Safeguard. Is your dewormer working? Text the word SAFE to 48109 to find out, and also be entered to win a new Traeger grill from Safeguard. For more information, go to Merck Animal Health. Corn costs. You guys are thinking, boy, does it. When you're thinking about feeding these cattle, the market's great. We should be more excited than we are, but these input costs, and especially your feed costs, and primarily corn, is taking the fun out of it. You can't pencil anything out, guys, and even for you guys that have your own corn, the opportunity cost of not selling that corn is insurmountable when you look at what these calves are costing, and what the promise or lack of promise of what the fat cattle market is. It's got to break all-time record highs, which were artificially reached back in 2014 to even make anything come out. So what do you do with that? You look at what the feedlots are paying for corn down in southwest Kansas, where all the feedlots are at, $7.40 thereabout or higher. Texas is running $8.30 to $8.50 a bushel. You start figuring some cost of gains on that, you can't make anything work. Maybe some coon shit out of the southeast or something, but you've got to keep them alive somehow, and you got to get them there. We've never seen our shipping rates as high as they are right now. The one thing that's not as high is your cost of medicine. The patents finally run out on stuff, and we've got some cheaper medicine that works pretty good, but you got to know how to give it, and you got to know when to give it. But even if you look up where corn's made, Council Bluffs, Iowa, the elevators there are paying $6.94, so that's your opportunity cost. So you got to figure it's going to cost you over $7 a bushel time you get it there and everything for an opportunity cost. Even if you got your own corn. So, how do you make things work? We're not real sure here, but it's different for the guys in the Southern Plains especially, and the Northern Plains big commercial lots. They've got that infrastructure that they've got to use, and they're going to put some cattle in there because they've got to make use of that facility. They're especially doing that in the Southern Plains. The cattle don't look like they're going to work. They don't figure they're going to work. They don't want to have to buy them all themselves. They want to con some of you guys into doing it yourself, or they will buy your cattle and then take you in for half. Then you get for sure all your share of the loss when it comes. But you independent guys that are a little bit more free, and of course you do a lot of the work yourself, so you can do it a little bit cheaper, but don't beat your head against the wall. Let's look at the board on Monday. December live cattle futures down 12 cents at 153.22. February down a nickel at 155.82. Back months were mixed, from down a nickel to up 17 cents. January feeder cattle futures up 132 with that cheaper corn at 183.77. March up $1.10 at 186.37. Your back months were all higher, from 27 cents to 95 cents. Corn, Chicago Board of Trade, corn futures for December down 6 1/4 cent at 628 3/4. Beans down 3/4 cent. Let's talk about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade out of the 5-area feeding region. 65,200 head is all they sold pure negotiated in the 5-area, compared to 80,800 the previous week and 97,400 the same week a year ago. They're wanting to keep these chain speeds going full blast, not buying many cattle pure negotiated on the open market. They've got a lot of formula cattle. They got a lot of cattle promised to them in other ways. That's why we can't gain any more ground in the market. We gained a little bit of ground this last week, 50 cents on the price spread, from 153.5 to 159. It was really a little better than that. If you look at the at the particulars on there, there was less than 700 head that brought less than 155 in the 5-area feeding region, and there was more than 3,000 head that brought 159 or more. So you know the prices, the bulk of the trade was further up in the price range, but still your weighted average on live steers was only 156.42. That was up 35 cents compared to last week or the previous week there. That's not that big of a gain whenever we look at some of the prices we're paying for feeder cattle, and they're just gaining in leaps and bounds. And you think you pulled off a pretty good week of fat cattle trade, you only gained 35 cents on the market. Dress sales $2 to $3 higher, did gain some ground there from 245 to 249, and there was over 7,500 head that brought the 249, which is pretty good. Weighted average there gained a big ground. Dress steers weighted average 248.55 in your 5 area, up 369. Nationwide negotiated sales 77,500. That'd be a little disappointing for the 5 area. It's real disappointing nationwide. Negotiated grid, or excuse me, of the 77,500, 21% of those were for the 15 to 30 day delivery. So still not getting too many of those to set the market up. Negotiated grid sales 43,200 head. Forward contract sales 24,200 head. And formula sweetheart deals 250,300 head. Box beef cutout values were lower on Monday and a bunch lower. Choice was down 662 at 243.31. Select's down 345 at 221.11. Pretty decent opening weekday slaughter, 127,000. Talk about what else is going on. Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, going to have around 3,500 head for the regular Tuesday sale here today. It's going to include a lighter run of yearlings than what they normally have. Nobody's got any yearlings, and they're light. Thought they'd have 6 or 7 loads of true yearlings in there, straight loads of them. Jeff Slatton wanted me to mention an independent ranch string that come from northern New Mexico. Come over there, almost 500 head of them all together, these fancy steers. They're going to weigh around 575. Of course, they've been long time weaned, had all their shots. He said the heifers need kept. They're that good. And so if you guys are looking for some replacement quality heifers, they're going to have some at Beaver County Stockyards here today, Tuesday. You can get on DV Auction, view and bid the sale right there at Beaver County Stockyards. He said they'll have another 1,500 head of weaned calves to choose from also. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 177.22. That was up 47 cents compared to the end of last week. I want to mention Night Latch Group. That's crop insurance and selling these livestock policies. It's Andy Cunningham, and basically featuring your livestock gross margin policies, which he's really been working with and has got those figured out. You can hedge your corn and your cattle in one easy policy there. Get the government to kick in a little bit to help you pay for that premium. Pretty good deal. Go to nightlatch.net. Talk about your big sales to open the week. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City, 14,000 head of cattle. Big run for them. Feeders, steady and a light test. And I know it's hard to believe when you got 14,000 head of cattle, but not too many yearling feeders. Most of the feeders that were there were big calf feeder cattle there, but they did feature the Angus cattle with the Oklahoma Angus Association there, so they had a bigger run, more uniform run and bigger bunches, so that helped your calf market. Steer calves $4 to $7 higher, spots as much as $12 higher. Heifer calves, those weighing over 4.5 were about steady, but peewee heifer calves weighing under 4.5, 15 to 20 bucks higher. My goodness. Stick out sale that they had in Oklahoma City. National Livestock sells 90 head of 605 pound steer calves at $2.10 a pound. That'd be pretty darn good, especially in central Oklahoma. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards? Joplin had 10,000 head, another yearling special. Just got the mid-session report from them. Said all classes and weights selling from mostly steady to as much as $3 higher. Your Zoetta stick-out sale of the day, Faith Livestock Auction in Faith, South Dakota, 7,200 head on offer. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights, 1,212 head of 4-weight steers, average 458 with a weighted average price of 237.03. 2,511 head of 5-weight steer calves, and they'd be as good as walks. Average 555 with a weighted average price of $2.15 a pound. Very impressive there for that many. 823 head of 6-weight steer calves, average 638, weighted average price 201.91. Look at your big runs of heifers. 913 head of 4-weight heifer calves in Faith, South Dakota, average 456 with a weighted average price of 205.78. 884 head of the 5-weight heifer calves, average 549, weighted average price on them 192.65. Few stick out sales, a market we've never talked about before. Heard about it, never been there myself, but getting information through Cattle Market Central on them. Oberlin Livestock Auction in Oberlin, Kansas sells 72 head of steers, weigh just shy of 800 pounds. That's 798 pounds. Bring 188.50. That'd be $10 over your index levels based on an 800-pound steer. It's supposed to go up through the middle 12 states. Be pretty close to Oberlin, Kansas, where that would be centralized, guys. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota. They sell the big near beer steers. 220 head of 1,014-pound steers bring $176. But for the second week in a row on their day, your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of Joplin Regional Stockyards. 294 head of steers weigh 858, bring 187.25. Joplin. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.